Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford lit up our living rooms for decades on this morning, causing the nation to fall in love with their heartwarming relationship, and having worked alongside them on the ITV show, I can honestly say I never noticed any cause for concern. So, I can't help but wonder if being suddenly axed from this morning in 2021 was the beginning of the end for their marriage. Working with the couple on TV, often discussing relationships, in my role as a behavioral psychologist allowed me to see up close and personal how comfortable they were presenting with each other. They certainly bickered and had differences of opinion, but it was done with warmth, ease, and affection. They seemed to love working together, and from everything I could see, it made them stronger. It was a stark contrast from many married couples who find working together to be a strain. Of course, on the other hand, while losing the role will have dented the amount of time they spent together, the job will have brought some problems of its own. Working together and then going home together must have made it hard to separate public and private life. It can be difficult for a couple not on TV to make sure they focus on each other, so when your relationship is so tied up in work, it will be even harder. Finding time to break away from the everyday and just be together was likely to be very difficult for them. Ruth and Eamonn have always had their own strong personalities, and while that worked wonderfully for TV, it might have made things a little harder at home. But as a more mature relationship, they would have been able to accept differences of opinion without it causing too many problems. When they were handed their marching orders from the daytime show, it will have been hard for both sides of their life, personal and professional. While they have both thrived as individuals in the industry, Eamonn on GB News and Ruth with her Loose Women gig, it has placed them on separate schedules. He'll be up at the crack of dawn for his morning show, and by the time he gets back he's likely to be exhausted, while Ruth is starting work later and will likely have been out of the house before her husband returned. This means finding quality time together will be difficult. It's hard for any couple. In fact, it's often the beginning of the end when quality time isn't carved out. It sounds cliché, but date nights are important to allow couples to reconnect, and given they weren't spotted out together for a long time before the announcement, Ruth and Eamonn probably weren't having them. Even just chilling on the sofa together watching TV helps secure that bond, and if they've been on different schedules for their work, they won't have had that either. Without those little moments, it's not hard for a little tear to turn into a wide gulf very quickly. When you've started living separate lives, that's game over for any relationship. In a way, it's entirely possible that presenting this morning together on a Friday was their version of quality time. They certainly got a whole morning together discussing all sorts of things. It was an anchor for them. While they've never needed each other professionally, their other roles may well have seen them start to grow apart. Loose Women typically spends time looking at and evaluating other people's relationships, what is good about it, what works, what doesn't, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if it caused Ruth to look at hers and decide that it was no longer a good fit for whatever reason. If you spend a lot of time discussing other people's relationships, it would be hard not to examine your own, consciously or subconsciously. I've heard it described as the curse of loose women. Many of the ladies alongside her on the panel have been through relationship breakups and divorces, so she'll have a big support system there. With the pair having different careers, they're independent of each other financially, and when it comes to TV work, having that level of separation may have seen them grow apart even further. They were moving in different spheres, looking at different topics, and perhaps they stopped having things in common to discuss. On top of all that, Eamonn's health is very likely to have been an issue, especially as he refused to allow his pain and ongoing surgeries to hold him back. He's had a double hip replacement, serious issues with his back, and more. He's really looked quite unwell, but seems to be determined to keep going at full pelt. That's likely to have put strain on their relationship. While we've heard that Ruth has been caring for him, having someone who wants to keep going at any cost can put a real strain on a relationship. When anyone is in pain, it makes things harder and can alter how they react to things. It can't have been easy for Eamonn or Ruth to deal with. If things were difficult at home, she may well have focused on work as an escape from that. Unfortunately, that can deepen the divide and make things harder instead of allowing them to grow together and heal their rift. Perhaps he feels like she wasn't there enough for him as her own career has flourished, and she's probably been out of the house a lot. Outside of work and life directly at home, they've both been through a lot of grief. Eamonn recently lost his mom and Ruth lost her sister to suicide. If they'd been grieving separately and leaning on other people, that will only have widened the emotional gulf between them. Grief puts a strain on any relationship, and if they don't share it and use it as an opportunity to find each other again, it can turn that gulf into a chasm. For Ruth and Eamonn, they've ended up in this kind of perfect storm since leaving this morning. Everything will have impacted their relationship and made it harder to find each other. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Netflix World 24 YouTube channel for more update news.